Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a truly mind-bending theory, one that claims the fundamental building block of all life, the carbon atom, holds a secret code that maps directly onto a spiritual framework within the Quran.
So what if I told you that the chemistry of carbon isn't just about molecules, but also about the human soul? We're about to explore a framework that suggests the way carbon behaves is a direct physical reflection of a spiritual and cosmological map. And according to the source, this is no mere metaphor. It's a fundamental law that governs everything. Here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with a single atom, look at its different forms, see what holds it together, and then scale all the way up to the soul and the cosmos itself. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, so this whole theory kicks off with the properties of carbon, the absolute essential element for life. Now, in this framework, carbon is seen as clay, the raw material of creation, of humanity itself.
Let's do a quick chemistry refresher. And don't worry, this is super simple. Every element has something called a valency, which is basically its power to connect with other elements. For carbon, that magic number is 4. It's always looking to form 4 stable bonds, like it has 4 hands it wants to hold.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Look at the comparison. Carbon has a valency of 4. Oxygen has a valency of 2. You can do the math, right? That means one carbon atom has double the bonding power of an oxygen atom. Structurally, one carbon is equivalent to 2 oxygens. This 2-to-1 ratio, it's absolutely crucial.
The theory then connects this exact chemical ratio to a well-known verse in the Quran. It proposes that this isn't just about inheritance, but a deep structural law. The male function, which is represented by carbon, carries double the share or capacity of the female function, represented by oxygen.
So in this model, the male function, symbolized by carbon, is the core of the structure. It has double the bonding capacity. But to be stable, it needs a very specific kind of support system around it. So this idea gets even more profound when we look at how carbon atoms can arrange themselves. You see, carbon can exist in wildly different forms called allotropes. It's the same exact atoms, just in a different structure. And this is where the theory introduces a powerful duality. The source draws this incredible analogy between carbon's 2 most famous forms, graphite and diamond, and 2 key figures, Iblīs and Āsiyah. Think about it. Graphite, with its flat, slippery, dark layers, is presented as the clay that refuses to bond correctly. It's stuck in 2D. But diamond, that's the same exact material, purified under incredible pressure into a perfect, hard structure that can actually channel light. This chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? It illustrates this core idea that the very same element can manifest in 2 totally opposite ways. The dark, slippery sheets of graphite are linked to arrogance, disconnection, and ultimately burning. But the hard, perfectly ordered lattice of a diamond, that's linked to purity, to submitting to pressure and becoming a conduit for light itself. So that begs the question, right? How does something like graphite actually become a diamond? Well, it takes 2 things: immense pressure and a rock-solid, stable foundation. And the theory identifies this foundation with 3 key female figures, calling them the 3 silent mothers. These 3 figures, Āsiyah, Bilqīs, and Maryam, are said to form the stable 3-pointed base of a tetrahedron. Āsiyah acts as the anchor against tyranny. Bilqīs brings the clarity to cut through illusion, and Maryam provides the life bond that overcomes biological desire. Together, they create the stable environment that allows the central carbon atom, representing the human soul, to withstand that transformative pressure without shattering. Now, get this. This transformation from a graphite state to a diamond state isn't just some neat chemical analogy. The source argues this process also maps directly onto the bizarre world of quantum physics, suggesting there are 2 very distinct pathways for this spiritual change. This spiritual transformation is laid out in 3 steps. First, you have razim, or critical pressure, where the ego is pushed to its absolute breaking point. Then, the old identity shatters completely. But then, rahim, a state of mercy, enters and allows a completely new, more ordered identity to rise from the ashes. And the theory claims that this specific Quranic verse is actually outlining these 2 possible pathways for transformation, and that these paths correspond directly to 2 very real quantum phenomena. This is just brilliant. It illustrates the 2 ways to make the journey.
The tunnel into the Earth is compared to quantum tunneling, where a particle literally passes through a barrier that should be impossible to cross. Think of it as the soul penetrating an immense affliction. And the portal into the heaven? That's likened to quantum teleportation, an instant transfer of state, representing a direct and sudden spiritual ascension. So let's bring this all together now. Let's see how all these different ideas, from chemistry to scripture to quantum physics, are presented as a single unified law. What we're seeing is a pattern that the theory claims repeats on every single scale. You have carbon as the human clay, stabilized by the three mothers. You have the spiritual journey of transforming from the prideful state of graphite to the pure state of diamond. Even the expansion of the universe is said to mirror the same cosmic pulse. It's all presented as one coherent system, governed by the same fundamental rules. And really, it all boils down to this one powerful claim. The chemistry of clay proves the theology of light. The argument here is that the physical laws that govern our universe aren't separate from spiritual truths. They are a direct physical reflection of them. So ultimately, this entire framework presents us with a choice. It frames the human journey as this incredible alchemical process. We all start as this fundamental carbon-based clay, and the question it leaves us with is, what will we become? Will we remain in the opaque, slippery state of graphite, or will we submit to the pressure that purifies us into a transparent, diamond-like conduit for light? Which path does your heart lean toward?